What's going on, everyone? It has been Lone Vault Wanderer, and in today's video we're going to be asking the question why in the Fallout 76 trailer, and indeed in Vault 76, there is a TV that clearly shows a multicolored display. This all began with the Fallout 76 teaser that showed the Please Stand By image in multicolors. As you know, these images are typically displayed either in black and white or in just a single color, such as green for instance. And then when the Fallout 76 trailer came out, later in the trailer you can see a TV that is clearly displayed in multicolors, and that particular broadcast is of the debut of Vault 76. So when I did my deep analysis into the Fallout 76 trailer, I just said that, it doesn't mean anything. The multicolored display of the Please Stand By image doesn't actually mean anything. And I was wrong on that, so I completely admit that I was wrong, and several people pointed that out to me. But in those comments, some mistakes were actually as well made about the Fallout lore that required me myself to search into it deeper. So I certainly by no means knew this from the beginning. I was completely ignorant of it. But when people corrected me on the fact that the colors actually meant something, some people said that the Fallout world, the Fallout universe, never had multicolored displays on TVs. And that is actually false. So let's get into why this is the case, why Fallout 76 might have multicolored displays, and just explain everything that's going on here, because it's pretty interesting in my opinion. So yes, on my trailer analysis video, there were several comments that stated that the color in the Fallout 76 trailer meant something. One person stated that the color in the Please Stand By screen is a field sequential color system, early color TV essentially. Another person said that traditionally, the Please Stand By as well as other screens are in grayscale/monotone. This is the first time in Fallout that we are seeing color television, and that's reinforced by the latest shot of a color TV. Then a third person stated that, wait, they got color TV now. As far as I remember, all screens in Fallout were black and white, except of course for green and black terminals. So here is the truth. The Fallout games have always had color TVs. They were just much rarer. This was pointed out by @Tegeziel over on Twitter, who uploaded this really helpful image that shows in older Fallout games, yes, there were full color displays. The middle text states that full color displays have existed in the series since day 1 and day 2. So Vault 76 can have one according to lore. In that middle image, you can see in the background there a display that clearly has multicolors. It is not single color and it is not black and white. Then on the image on the left, you can see multiple displays. Now initially, they don't look like any color, but when you look at the text there, it states that this terminal is showing some kind of modern art. Some work with many different colors of stripes. Then later on, the computer that you can see, it states that you see an image of red, green and blue, pinpoints of light combined to make a picture of something. And yes, again, this is thanks to Tegeziel, who works over at the Vault Fallout wiki. So no, the Fallout games have never just had single color or black and white TVs and other displays. However, again, I was still wrong by stating that the colored television or the color displays didn't mean anything at all. In fact, it's really important in terms of the lore and history of the entirety of the Fallout universe. Let me explain why. As you know, the Fallout universe differs from our own universe, in that it diverges significantly in history. One of the early stages of this is in 1947, where the transistor was not discovered by scientists John Bardeen, Walter Hauser Brattain, and William Bradford Shockley, who were working at Bell Labs at the time. This meant that the large push to miniaturize electronics and computers which we saw in our world, and still do see of course in the 20th and 21st centuries, never really occurred in Fallout. The focus in Fallout is instead on creating huge computers and mainframes that filled entire rooms, investing in nuclear power generation, advanced robotics, high-tech weaponry and armor like laser rifles and power armor, and so on. Interestingly, vacuum tubes actually substituted the job of transistors, which only further prevented the miniaturization of technology. This is the reason why televisions, radios, and even cameras in Fallout look and operate like they're straight out of the 1950s and 60s. And this also explains why the in-game terminals are typically much larger, clunky, and look more primitive, featuring small text-based single-color displays. So how is it exactly in the older Fallout games, Fallout 1 and 2, there were multicolor displays, and also why is that the case in Vault 76 and Fallout 76? Well, this is going to require a little bit of research into the history of color television. Mind you, this is not from my memory, I'm using Wikipedia here, so the link is provided in the description below. And on that Wikipedia page, it states that transmission of color images using mechanical scanners had been conceived as early as the 1880s. A practical practical demonstration of mechanically scanned color television was given by John Logie Bard in 1928, but the limitations of a mechanical system were apparent even then. Development of electronic scanning and display made an all-electronic system possible. Early monochrome transmission standards were developed prior to the Second World War, but civilian electronics developments were frozen during much of the war. In August 1944, Baird gave the world's first demonstration of a practical, fully electronic color television display. In the United States, commercially competing color standards were developed, finally resulting in the NTSC standard for color that retained compatibility with the prior monochrome system. Although the NTSC color standard was proclaimed in 1953 and limited programming became available, it was not until the early 1970s that color television in North America outsold black and white or monochrome units. And then on another Wikipedia page, which is also linked in the description below, it states that the US began a gradual transition to color in late 1953. The first color TV sets were very expensive, and the audience for color was accordingly very small, so only specials and a handful of regularly scheduled shows aired in color during the 1950s. Market penetration slowly increased as more affordable sets and more color programming became available. A tipping point came in 1965, when the commercial networks first aired the majority of their primetime shows in color. By the end of 1966, primetime was all color, but an ever-dwindling number of daytime, local, and educational programs continued in black and white for a few more years. So what does this all mean? Well, first and foremost, it does mean that in 1944, the world's first fully color TV was displayed, which is 3 years before the transistor was never discovered in Fallout. And then from the year 1953, the NTSC color standard was developed and fully utilized, which was consistent with the old monochrome system. This means from that date, there were available fully colored display TVs and also programs that were showed in multicolors. So yes, even in the early 1950s, there were multicolored displays and TVs. So if we take that to the Fallout universe, it's obvious that even at that time, they probably also had some sort of multicolored display functionality. That's why you can see it in the early images of Fallout 1 and Fallout 2. And the fact that those colored displays were so expensive explains why most of the TVs and most of the displays in Fallout 3, Fallout 4, New Vegas, etc., and in all of those trailers were monochrome or black and white, because they were the most affordable ones for people at the time. So of course, most civilians, most American citizens would have owned those. So it's not really a stretch that Vault 76 has a multicolored display TV, especially because it was a control vault that was very well resourced and equipped. I think because of that reason, it was able to get a TV that had multicolors. And then when you look at the debut of Vault 76, you'll notice that that broadcast was also in multicolors. That too is also reasonable because, as mentioned before, in the early 1950s in our world, there were some limited broadcasts that were shot in multicolors. So would the launch of a vault like Vault 76 be one of those big deals that would justify the use of a multicolored camera to be able to display a broadcast in multicolors? I think so, because it was a big part of the US government and Vault-Tec's initiative, Project Safe House, and they wanted to show the American public that these vaults would protect them and that they were a big deal. Vault 76 was one of the showcase pinnacle vaults. It was one of the very first vaults constructed and also displayed to the public. So I honestly think it's feasible to say that this broadcast was shot in multicolors, and therefore the TVs that were capable of displaying multicolors were able to do so, like the one in Vault 76. So anyways, Wastelanders, I really hope you enjoyed this video. It was really interesting for me to make. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Did I make any mistakes? Do you agree with me or disagree with me? I would love to hear your thoughts. I absolutely love lore and history in the Fallout universe. And until next time, this has been the Lone Vault Wanderer. Please take care of yourself, and would you kindly keep fighting the good fight.